morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup, dateline 13th of May 2023. This week's headlines. Gaza militants in heaviest fighting for months. Kenya death cults. Pastor Ezekiel Odero arrested at funeral home probe. PTI rally speaker lynched by mob over blasphemy. Pilavachi investigation snowballs as new allegations come to light. Iran executes 2 on charges of insulting the Prophet, apostasy, and desecration of the Quran. Darwin has been dumped from Indian classrooms. In memory of Ananta Bijoy Dash, a freethinker, writer, and editor of the little magazine Jukti, we pay tribute to his courageous spirit. Edward Berg is a self-appointed visionary. After receiving a commission from God, he established the Immanuel Theology Institute International. Cabinet ministers are to speak at a Christian nationalist conference. Saudi Arabia says it will welcome LGBTQ+ visitors despite harsh anti-gay laws. Israel says Palestinian militants in Gaza have fired more than 460 rockets at it, and that its military has hit over 130 militant targets in Gaza in the heaviest fighting in 9 months. 6 people were killed and 45 injured, local medics say. Several were hurt rushing to shelters, where most rockets have been intercepted or fell in open areas. It comes a day after 15 Palestinians were killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza, including 3 Islamic Jihad leaders. The Islamic Jihad, PIJ, which is the second biggest militant group in the territory after Hamas, had sworn to avenge their deaths. In a televised address on Wednesday night, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned that Israel's campaign is not over. See this video. Kenyan police have arrested a popular televangelist and closed his church on the country's Indian Ocean coast following reports of mass deaths. The move comes as investigations go on into a religious cult linked to the deaths of nearly 100 people. Police have not formally connected the 2 cases. Pastor Ezekiel Odero, famed for drawing huge crowds at his functions, was held hours after police inspected a funeral home near his church. The police said morgue attendants had been collecting bodies at the New Life International Church premises in Kilifi County. This morning we have arrested Pastor Ezekiel Odero on allegations of the deaths that have been occurring at his premises, Coast Regional Commissioner Rhoda Oniyaka told reporters. Kenyan Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki said police had evacuated more than 100 people who were holed up at the church and that they would be required to make statements. The preacher has not responded to the allegations. In Peshawar, Pakistan, a local was lynched by a mob after he allegedly spoke blasphemous words during a political gathering in Sawalder, Mardan, on Saturday. The deceased was identified as Maluna Naigar of Salwalder, who was said to be addressing a gathering of the local chapter of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI. His blasphemous words during the winding-up speech and dua at the gathering enraged a large number of people in the audience, and officials said the number of angry people increased to thousands within no time. The police responded to the situation immediately, they said. However, the enraged mob went out of control and killed Naigar. Further allegations about Canon Mike Pilavachi, associate pastor of Soul Survivor, Watford, England, have been reported, including accounts of full-body massages and wrestling matches. Last Friday, Soul Survivor announced that the safeguarding concerns being investigated were no longer limited to non-recent incidents. Last month, Soul Survivor, a church in the Diocese of St Albans, announced that Canon Pilavachi had agreed to step back from all ministry while concerns were investigated. On Monday, the Daily Telegraph published a number of accounts from alleged victims and former Soul Survivor staff members. The newspaper reports that the stories disclosed have similar patterns. Alleged victims claim that, as young men, they were invited to their vicar's house, and after a normal chat, they would end up wrestling on the floor. They were often half his size as well as half his age. A number also claim that they were encouraged to receive full-body oil massages in their underwear while being straddled by Canon Pilavachi in his bedroom. Wrestling matches could last as long as 20 minutes and sometimes took place in the church, it is alleged. One man told the newspaper, "To be honest, I was never comfortable with the wrestles, but thought it must be okay because it was normalized by other role models who wrestled with Mike. Mike was a lot bigger and stronger than me, so he would always win, which he would show by pinning me down and straddling me. The whole thing tended to go on for quite a long time, and I wouldn't enjoy it." He said that Canon Pilavachi had then asked him whether he fancied a massage. 2 individuals in Iran have just been executed on charges including insulting the Prophet, apostasy, and desecration of the Quran. The Islamic Republic's judiciary announced the executions of Yusuf Merad and Sadrullah Fazeli Zar. When violence is used to intimidate us into science, it must backfire. If we don't respond, we are allowing these intimidation tactics to succeed, says Armin Navabi, who urges us to post a video like this one of his. See here. India is at the centre of much discussion. We hear about how a proposal to scrap Darwinian evolution from Indian secondary schools has led to signatures from thousands of scientists. Dr. Venita Bal, researcher at the National University of Immunology, is one of the signatories on a petition against the proposed changes. In memory of Ananta Bijoy Dash, a freethinker, writer and editor of the little magazine Jukti, Reason, we paid tribute to his courageous spirit. Tragically, on the 12th of May, 2015, so this is an anniversary, he was brutally murdered by an extremist Islamist group. As we remember his legacy, we persist in our commitment to denounce all forms of extremism, religious bigotry, authoritarianism, and the infringement of human rights and freedom of expression. Edward van den Berg is a self-appointed visionary in South Africa. After receiving a commission from God, he established the Immanuel Theology Institute International. Inspired by the parable of Moses and offering certificates, diplomas and degrees, the so-called doctor, professor, chancellor and archbishop of his own multi-campus online university insists he's leading his followers to the promised land. The trouble is, his institution isn't government accredited. So the self-proclaimed disciple of the Most High established his own accreditation bodies to certify his courses. Carte Blanche investigates the general of God's bogus university. See this video.
Pentecostal charismatic churches have become popular in South Africa for spontaneous outpourings of the Holy Spirit, singing, speaking in tongues, and divine healing.
Jesus, come out! Ouch! Jesus now, you are delivered.
But they also attract so-called prophets who are more interested in profits. A divine vision in 2010 launched the Immanuel University of Theology, offering diplomas, bachelor's, master's, and doctorates in divinity and theology. These happy graduates were kept by the receiver of that vision, Dr. Professor Chancellor Edward van den Berg. From a lowly railways manager, he transformed into a Pentecostal archbishop. Unsurprisingly, these miraculous achievements don't all add up, so we paid him a visit at his retirement village in Boksburg.
He made me apostle in 2010. And then
Straight from God.
Straight from God.
You became an apostle.
Then he said to me, I'm an apostle. So a lot of people don't believe when the Lord talks to you.
It was real.
Real, for real. And that empowered me. And then he said to me, I want you to train up the end-time generals and uplift the previous marginalized and disadvantaged in society.
This inspired him to write the entire curriculum for the Immanuel University of Theology, aimed at educating uncertified pastors. With a genuine desire for formal qualifications, they flocked to enroll.
I've got 64 campuses in South Africa and 20 internationally.
So if I had to go to a campus, I'm not going to see something like Wits.
No.
I'm going to see somebody's house.
No. You're going to be at the church, or you can be at the house, or where the guy's got the 3x3 tin shack.
Okay, I hear you. Okay.
85% of the population are non-whites, and they're Pentecostal and charismatics. So there was a demand, and I was assigned to train these guys up.
So you are saving the black people.
Yes.
You are saving.
I'm a Moses for the black people.
You are Moses for black people.
And I'm the one that I know I will go to the heavens.
The National Secular Society has expressed alarm over plans for British cabinet ministers to speak alongside anti-LGBT campaigners at a conference organised by Christian nationalists. Home Secretary Suella Braverman, MP, and Communities Minister Michael Gove, MP, will deliver keynote speeches at the National Conservatism Conference in London next week, according to the conference website. Other MPs and peers, including former Minister Jacob Rees-Mogg MP, are also confirmed to be attending as speakers. NatCon is based on a statement of principles which asserts public life should be rooted in Christianity where a Christian majority exists. Saudi Arabia is continuing its drive to attract more tourists by reassuring LGBTQ+ visitors that they are welcome, despite homosexuality being punishable by death in the country. The website of the Saudi Tourism Authority appears to have updated its Q&A section on whether or not LGBTQ+ tourists can visit. Everyone is welcome to visit Saudi Arabia, and visitors are not asked to disclose such personal details, it says. Exactly when the update took place is unclear, and according to CNN, an archived version of the website did not display the question or its answer. Sexual activity between people of the same sex is an offence in Saudi Arabia, and Human Dignity Trust, an organisation that campaigns for LGBTQ+ rights, has reported that there are consistent reports of discrimination and violence against LGBTQ+ people there. Our guest for the live Free Thought Hour show today is Professor of Biology Nathan Lentz, who focuses on the evolution of the human genome. That's going to be very interesting. And don't forget to watch Views on the News, our panel show about this very news. This has been Global Atheist News. The GAN team will be back next week. Thanks for watching.